Next item.
Item 9E, receive City Council Subcommittee report and adopt resolution approving City Council policies related to councilmember communication and other activities.
Connie.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Once again, I'm going to turn this conversation over to a subcommittee of the City Council that was first appointed in late March, closely following the City Council's goal setting and priority planning workshop that was held on March 21st. The purpose of that subcommittee was to work with staff to develop some norms and protocols for City Council member activities and communication to address the City Council's interests to establish a more clear and definitive protocol, if you will, for the working relationship of the new City Council. You're more tenured now than at that time, but the intent was to move to a platform that many cities have used in the development of standards or procedures and protocols that define and provide an opportunity for new members to be oriented, as well as for the City Council to articulate and maintain certain expectations regarding their interaction, your interaction one with another, and as a policy-making body. What's in front of you tonight is work product, as I said, of the subcommittee that was appointed to do this. And it relies heavily on best practice examples from numerous other documents that we searched for from other cities that have addressed similar issues in the past. Staff's perspective here is that this is a living document, and you have the opportunity to add, expand by refining the topics, adding or subtracting topics as your needs may arise, and that you look at it that way as a means of representing the current interests and priorities of the City Council going forward. So you may wish to make changes, you may wish to add topics, or to take other action with respect to the document that's in front of you. It's here tonight for your discussion and consideration, and would return following your direction to the subcommittee for any action by the City Council at a future date. With that, your two council members, Vice Mayor Davis and Councilmember O'Connell, may have some comments and can certainly answer questions.
Thank you for that update. So I appreciate the opportunity to work with Councilmember O'Connor as well as staff to develop this document. I found it to be very beneficial for myself, and I actually learned a lot through the process. You know, what we do, how we do it, does have impact. You know, when we sit down and we had numerous meetings and we had a lot of discussions about certain things. You know, a simple response to social media, for example. I'm a resident in San Bruno and I go and I voice an opinion about something, but that has consequences. What I do and what I say, and we really need to think about that. And so I hope that the council members get an opportunity to really review this and understand it, and maybe you haven't had that opportunity to do that, and we can bring it back, but at least tonight give us some direction. Is this the right direction? Is this what you want to see? Is there something that's missing from it? That would be helpful. But if you look at you know, an important aspect that we added to this this document was, we call it the 10-minute rule, and you know, anything that we ask of staff to do should be something sort of short and simple. That if I picked up the phone and I called Connie and I said, hey Connie, can I get an analysis on X, Y, and Z? And you know, we as a council have given direction for staff to work on projects, what are our goals, what are our priorities, as well as everyday business. And she does that, but yet it's taken, you know, 3 hours of staff's time. Well, is that really right? Is that appropriate? So we said, you know what, let's stop that. Let's not do that. Let's put the inquiry out there. If it's something that can be easily attainable and I can get the information back, great. If not, she'll simply advise, bring it up under council comments, where I can then ask the council, ask the question about a particular issue and say, are we interested in going down this? Do we want to spend staff time to investigate, to bring up this information? And maybe we don't. Maybe we need to look at, let's stay focused on what our goals are. We sit here and we have discussions, we talk about priorities, let's stick with the priorities. So I thought that was an important part of this, of the council norms. How we represent ourselves in attendance at a commission or a board. I think it's important too. I think we need to allow those commissioners to do their job and to work with staff. And for us as council members to sit here and get the annual reports from them, to get reports from staff, and to allow them to know that we exist, we're here, come to me, come to us with questions, but that it's not our place to be attending those meetings on a regular basis, that our place is really right here, and that we as council members are here. We also talked about, when we voice an opinion about an issue, whether it's responding to a social media, responding to a resident, that there's a disclaimer that goes in that says, here are my opinions that may not represent those of the San Bruno City Council as a whole. That's how I feel about that. And so those are some important things too. And you can see with all the sort of headers of each of the particular areas, but I think that the document helped me in a lot of ways. It reconfirmed what I think I've been hearing in the time frame that I've been a council person, and I appreciated the feedback and the discussion, especially from Councilmember O'Connor, who's been doing this for a lot of years, and you get it. And a simple opinion about something in a public forum really can kind of shoot you in the foot, and this is the place really for that, to voice our opinions about things. So.
Well, very well said. Thank you for that. It was a revelation to me in some ways, because when I started as a council, there was no next door. There was the emails that we got were very few and far between, and a lot of this stuff never came up. So it was a good review as well, and I would suggest, since the hour is late and we've all been through a lot, that you take to heart what Laura said and do a good review of this, and we can bring it back at another council meeting. If you have any particular questions now, or if you want to dwell on it and bring it back.
Another point that I wanted to bring up is communication. I struggle with this all the time. We get an email that goes to council. Who responds? Who takes leadership on that? How quickly should we respond to it? And so what we're asking, and it really clearly states that the mayor or the city manager responds to the communication that goes to council, or that the mayor may assign a particular person to a council member to respond to that. Because I think that we're, like you said, we're in a time when email communication, we're seeing a lot of communication. There's certain things that I won't respond to and I don't think that are appropriate, but we all need to remember that I might get an individual email, but Marty, you're getting it, and Michael, you're getting it, and Rico, you're getting it, and we're all getting it. So we need to be careful about how we say and how we respond to that. So sometimes maybe just checking in with each other, sharing that communication with the city manager, so the city manager's aware of that. But that's the kind of things that we wanted to address and to clarify as well.
Okay, thank you. Marty or Michael, do you have any immediate questions, comments, or direction?
Sure.
Yeah, Marty.
Honestly, I got this at 6 o'clock in the morning when I got up, right? So I can't really comment on it. It's very thorough. I briefly went through it. I had a really busy day. I agree that this is a good start, and that we can talk about it at a different time, at a later time. But it's a great start because this didn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Michael, anything at this time?
No, I agree that it is a very good start. There's a lot of good content there, so thank you for doing the research and trying to arrive at some a good base for us to operate from. So definitely appreciate it. I'm in favor of everything that's been outlined there. I started doing some other research on what other cities are doing. Some other cities are way ahead of us in terms of how they define it. When Laura and I were on Park and Rec, we actually went through the process of defining their bylaws and their there was a couple of documents I can't remember what the other document was, but it's definitely helpful as an exercise of going through and understanding what roles and responsibilities are and how things should be carried out. And great job. Thank you for putting that together. I look forward to discussing it in more detail. I see that as being some sort of a living document that could evolve as we grow and as new technologies come about and new ways to communicate with the public, and we'll definitely need to revisit it from time to time. Thank you for the work.
I don't want to keep it brief, but I think it's on track. I think it's a great start. It has changed over the years, but at the same time, too, it's good to have established expectations and that we all kind of streamline the process. Even with our new city clerk, we're looking to open up the emails so that she can see it, and we have response times and stuff like that, and it gets directed. So I think it really helps set a standard and an expectation to our community and a responsiveness. So we can bring this back, because I think, Irene, you're right, because of the lateness of the hour. But thank you very much for the meetings and the work. So we will bring that back at a future meeting.